Some time ago, I had the opportunity to talk to two Christian leaders. Both of these men were well respected in their churches, and they both had very successful ministries. When I asked how his family felt about his traveling from home so much, and he was gone sometimes weeks at a time, one of the men replied, "My family understands that my work comes first." And there was no question that everyone understood this, especially his family. While enjoying a meal with the other gentleman, I asked if his wife cooked such good meals for him every evening, and he replied, "I travel so much, I rarely eat at home." Now, what makes these examples so tragic is that both of these men had teenage children at the time that had rejected the Lord. And both of these men believed that their job or their ministry was more important than their family. If you are a parent, then the most important ministry you have is toward your family. If God has blessed you with children, then they and your relationship with your spouse need to be your top priority. While driving together along the A1 in Cambridgeshire, England, where we lived a number of years ago, a pastor friend shared with me how the Lord had changed his attitude toward his family and made him realize that his responsibility toward his wife and children took precedence over his ministry. As a young man, new in the ministry, my friend took every opportunity he could to preach and to take meetings, often to the neglect of his family. And one evening, after returning from a youth meeting, he found his 5-year-old son in tears. "Daddy," he said, "how is it that you find time to play with other boys and girls, but you never have time to play with me?" And those pleading words from the heart of that little child broke this father's heart and caused him to reevaluate his priorities. Many years later, my friend devoted special attention to young husbands and fathers in his congregation, and he shared how he told one young man who had been away from his family all week on a business trip that he didn't want to see him at church on Sunday evening. He was to be at home with his wife and children. Parenting is one of the most important jobs we will ever have. We can be successful in business, successful in the ministry, but if we are not first a successful spouse and parent, what does it all matter? The most precious things we have is the relationships we have with each other, especially those in our family. Don't sacrifice those relationships on the altar of corporate or even ministerial success.